Invocation shall be led by Representative Euphemia C. Kolyamat, Party List Bayan Muna. Please proceed, the Honorable Kolyamat. The Honorable Kolyamat, you may now please proceed with your invocation. Technical, nakamute ata siya.
Sa araw na ito, ay muli niyong pinapaalala sa amin sa pamamagitan nito Puta, Usayas, Banata 4, Talata 1 hanggang 3. Na sa lupain ito ay walang katapatan, walang pagkahabag, at walang pagkilala sa Diyos. Sa halip ay laganap ang panunungayaw, pagsisinungaling, pagpatay, pagnanakaw, at pangangalunya. Nilabag nila ang lahat ng batas at sunod-sunod ang patayan. Kaya tumatangis ang lupain, nalulumbay ang naninirahan dito. Nakakalungkot po, Diyos, na sa kabila ng hirap ng dinaranas ng mamamayang Pilipino sa gitna ng pandemya, patuloy na nangyari ang paglustay sa pera ng bayan sa mga bagay na hindi mahalaga at sa mga bagay na kumikitil ng buhay at para sa bulsa ng ilan na nakikinabang. Napakatindi na po ang kalagayan ng aming bansa. Habang pataas ang bilang ng mga nagpositibo ng COVID-19, ay tumitindi din ang hirap ng mamamayan dahil sa kawalan ng trabaho, kakulangan ng ayuda mula sa gobyerno, kawalan ng komprehensibong tugon sa pandemya, at hindi maayos na prioridad sa pagbibigay ng pundo na dapat ayaang tutukan sa patayang pangangailangan ng mamamayang Pilipino sa ilalim ng krisis pangkalusugan at krisis pang-ekonomiya. Gabayan mo nawa ang bawat isa na magiging kabahagi sa mga budget hearings dito, na hindi kami pangunahan sa aming mga sariling interes. Pagkus, maging batayan nawa ang aming mga hakbangin, argumento at proposisyon, ang tunay na kalagayan ng mamamayang Pilipino na aming pinanunumpaang paglingkuran. Gawin nawa namin ang makatarungan, amuhian ang kasamaan at ibigin ang mabuti. Nawa ang pagpatnubay ng diwa ay mapasa bawat isa sa amin sa aming pagsisikap na maging tapat sa iyo, Diyos ng katarungan, at sa bayan naming pinaglilingkuran. Siya nawa. Maraming salamat.
The national anthem.
Bayang magiliw, perlas ng silanganan, alam ng puso, sa titik mo'y buhay. Lupang hinirang, duyan ka ng magiging, sa manlulupit, di ka pasisingil, sa dagat at bundok, sa simoy at sa langit mong paghaw, ay nilang ang tula at awit sa paglayang minamahal. Ang kislap ng wataw at mo'y tagumpay na naghihiling, ang bituin at araw niya kailan pa may magdidilim. Lupa ng araw ng walaming pagsinta, buhay ay langit sa piling mo. Aming ligaya dapat may mamahapin, at mamatay ng dahil sa'yo.
Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, I move that we call the roll of members.
The Secretary General is ordered to call the roll of members.
Roll call of members. Honorable Representatives. Abante. Paya. Villanosa. Abu. Wexaldivar. Bunda. Acop. Costa. Costa Alba. Adjong. Vincula. Gabas. Agaraw. Lipay. Ginaldo. Urbano. Almario. Alonte. Alvarez Franz. Alvarez Genaro. Alvarez Pantaleon. Amante Matba. Amatong. Angara. Aragones. Arbison. Arenas. Arroyo. Atienza. Mentado. Babasa. Bagatsing. Balindong. Banyas Nograles. Barba. Barbers. Baronda. Barsaga. Baskug. Bautista. Bautista Bandigan. Belmonte. Benitez. Bernos. Biason. Billones. Biron. Bolilla. Bondok. Bordado. Bravo. Brosas. Bulot. Bustos. Kabatbat. Kabotyan. Cabredo. Cagas. Calderon. Calixto. Caminero. Campos. Canama. Kawagdan. Cari. Castelo. Castro Franz. Castro Fredinil. Cayetano Alan Peter Compañero. Cayetano Maria Laarni. Celeste. Chato. Chipeco. Chungalao. Co Angelica. Co Elizaldi. Cuanco. Collantes. Crisologo. Cua. Quaresma. Cueva. Culyamat. Dagook. Dalipe. Dalog. Dasa. De Jesus. De Venecia. Defensor Lawrence. Defensor Michael. Del Mar. De Los Santos. De Los Montalia. De Maporo Abdullah. De Maporo Muhammad Khalid. Duavit. Duhali. Duterte. D. Faustino Ino. D. Faustino Michael III. D. Ian Paul. Ebcas. Cleo. Elago. Enverga. Erice. Ergel. Ermita Buhain. Escudero. Espina. Espino. Estrella. Fariñas Ria. Fariñas Rudy Cesar. Fernandez. Fernando. Per Juliet. Per Luis. Flores. Fortun. Fortuno. Frasco. Fuentebella. Gaite. Garbin. Garcia Jose Enrique. Garcia Pablo John. Garcia Vincent. Garin Janet. Garin Sharon. Gasataya. Gatchalian. Gato. Heron. Go Ed. Go Mark. Gonzaga. Gonzales. Aurelio Dong. Gonzales Neptali. Gonzales Sandro. Goroseta. Gico. Gullas. Guya. Aresco. Hataman. Hernandez. Herrera D. Hofer. Alushos. Javier. Jimenez. Ko Elisa. Ko Wilton. Kong Hun. Labad-Labad. Lacson. Lacson Noel. Lagman. Lagon. Lara. Lasetin. Dietchon. Legarda. Lim. Lim Kaichong. Lopez. Loyola. Losotan. Makapagal Arroyo. Maceda. Madrona. Malapitan. Mangawang. Magundadato. Marcoleta. Mariano Hernandez. Marino. Marquez. Martinez. Matba. Matugas. Mendoza. Mercado. Momo. Natividad Naganyo. Nava, Nieto, Noel, Nograles, Jericho, Nograles, Juan Fidel, Nolasco, Nunez Malanyaon, Waminal, Olivares, Ong Jose, Ong Ronnie, Ortega, Uwano Dizon, Pacquiao Alberto, Pacquiao Rogelio, Padjernos, Paduano, Palma, Pancho, Panotes, Peña, Pichay, Pimentel, Pineda, Plaza, Puno, Kimbo, Radasa, Ramirez Sato, Ramos, Remulla, Revilla, Reyes, Rivera, Robes, Rodriguez, Roman, Romero, Romualdez Ferdinand, Romualdez Yeda Marie, Romualdo, Romulo, Roque, Sakdalan, Sagarbaria, Sakaluran, Salceda, Salimbangon, Salo, Sanchez, Sancopan, Santos Recto, Sarmento, Saulug, Savillano, Xiao, Silverio, Singson, Singson Mihan, Sinsuat, Swansing Estrelita, Swansing Horacio, Suarez Aleta, Suarez David, Suntay, Si Alvarado, Taduran, Talyado, Tambunting, Tan Alisa, Tan Angelina, Tan Shamir, Tan Shari, Tan Sherny, Tejada, Teves Arnulfo, Teves Jose, Tiangco, Tolentino, Torres Gomez, Tulfo, Tupas, Chutor, T. Alan, T. Diego, Umali Alfonso, Umali Maria Victoria, Unabia, Ungab, Uy Juliet, Uy Rolando, Valeriano, Balmayor, Vargas, Vargas Alfonso, Velasco, Veloso, Vergara, Villa, Villafuerte, Villanueva Brother Eddie, Villanueva Noel, Villar, Villara Suarez, Villarica, Violago, Yap Eric, Yap Victor, Yu, Zamora Ronaldo, Zamora Waikorat, Zarate, Zubiri. Mr. Speaker, the roll call shows that 300 members responded to the call.
With 300 members responding to the call, the chair declares the presence of a quorum. Majority Leader,
Mr. Speaker, I move that we approve Journal Number 5, dated September 1 and 2, 2020. So moved, Mr. Speaker.
is there any objection? The chair hears none. The motion is approved. Majority Leader,
Mr. Speaker, I move that we take up the reference of business and that the Secretary General be directed to read the same.
is there any objection? The chair hears none. The motion is approved. The Secretary General is directed to read the bills and resolution on first reading for referral to the appropriate committee.
Reference of business. Bills on first reading. House Bill number 7557 and 7558 establishing CHED provincial offices in Mountain Province in the city of Laoag. Representative Dalog, Farinas Ria, Farinas Rudy Caesar.
To the Committee on Higher and Technical Education.
House Bill number 7559 mandating the synchronization of e-commerce independent contractors and penalizing the cancellation of cash on delivery based on transactions. Representative Herrera D.
To the Committee of on Trade and Industry.
House Bill number 7560 renewing the franchise granted to Times Broadcasting Network Incorporated. Representative Palma.
To the Committee on Legislative Franchise.
House Bill number 7561 converting the provincial road in Tubo Junction to Sayapot Junction in Benguet into a secondary national road. Representative Yap Eric.
To the Committee on Public Works and Highways.
House Bill number 7562 establishing a mandatory pre-marriage orientation and/or counseling program for Filipino Muslims, including indigenous peoples. Representative Magunda Dato.
To the Committee on Muslim Affairs and Committee on Indigenous Cultural Communities and Indigenous Peoples.
House Bill number 7563 creating the Music Development Council of the Philippines. Representative De Venecia, Legarda, Escudero, Arenas, Savillano, Sagarbarria, Yap Victor, Santos Recto, Aragones, Torres Gomez, Revilla, Romulo, Gatchalian, Garin Sharon, Hofer, Vergara, Alonte, Bagatsing, Bolilla, Macapagal, Arroyo, Villar, Singson Mihan, Atienza, Vargas, Maceda, and Benitez.
to the Committee on Basic Education and Culture,
House Bill Number 7564 declaring Alaminos Laguna as an ecotourism zone. Representative Aragones.
to the Committee on Tourism,
House Bill Number 7567 providing a national housing development production and financing program. Representative Suarez Aleta.
to the Committee on Housing and Urban Development,
House Bill Number 7568 digitizing all books necessary for public education and establishing the Philippine Online Library. Representative Suarez Aleta.
to the Committee on Basic Education and Culture,
House Bill Number 7569 directing the National Wages Productivity Commission of the DOLE to establish a minimum wage for nurses in private hospitals. Representative Duterte, Bautista, and Yap Eric.
to the Committee on Labor and Employment,
House Bill Number 7570 creating 4 additional branches of the municipal trial courts in Nueva Vizcaya. Representative Quaresma.
to the Committee on Justice,
House Bill Number 7571 institutionalizing the provision of financial assistance, protection, social pension for Filipino PWDs. Representative Tutor.
to the Special Committee on Persons with Disabilities,
House Bill Number 7572 providing for a system of postal voting by senior citizens. Representative Kimbo.
to the Committee on Suffrage and Electoral Reforms,
House Bill Number 7577 for the empowerment of the PNP through digital transformation and facility upgrade. Representative Macapagal Arroyo.
to the Committee on Public Order and Security,
House Bill Number 7578 introducing reforms to the National Health Insurance System. Representative Salceda.
to the Committee on Health,
House Bill Number 7579 creating the Metro Davao Regional Development Authority. Representative Bautista and Duterte.
to the Committee on Government Enterprises and Privatization, and the Committee on Local Government,
Message from the Senate. Message dated September 2, 2020, informing the House that on September 1, 2020, the Senate designated Senators Villar, Marcos, Pangilinan as conferees to the Bicameral Conference Committee on the disagreeing provisions of Senate Bill Number 1318 and House Bill Number 6878.
to the Committee on Rules,
Communications. Letter dated 10 February 2020 of President Edgardo E. Tulin, Visayas State University, providing the House of their copies of their 2017 and 2018 annual reports.
to the Committee on Higher and Technical Education,
Letters and emails from several provinces and cities submitting to the House the quarterly financial and physical reports of operations, fund utilizations, and status of programs, project implementations on local government support fund, conditional matching grant to provinces for road repair, rehabilitation, and improvement.
to the Committee on Appropriations,
Letters of municipal mayors informing the House on the reports on fund utilization and status of programs, projects, activities, and implementations relative to the Bayanihan grant to cities and municipalities and to the provinces for certain months of 2020.
to the Committee on Appropriations,
Letter dated July 14, 2020 of Joanne Beth Jumawan, OIC Team Audit Leader, Dumaguete City, Negros Oriental, COA, furnishing the House of a copy of the 2018-2019 Biennial Audit Report on the Metro Siquijor Water District, Siquijor.
to the Committee on Appropriations,
Letter dated July 15, 2020 of the PCSO Vice Chairperson and General Manager, Renoya M. Garma, submitting to the House the Annual Accomplishment Report for calendar year 2019.
to the Committee on Games and Amusement,
Letter dated July 15, 2020 of the COA Chairperson Michael G. Aguinaldo, submitting to the House a copy of the calendar year 2019 report on salaries allowances received by principal officers, members of governing board of the GOCCs and their subsidiaries, and the secretaries, undersecretaries, assistant secretaries, and other officials of equivalent rank of the national government agencies.
to the Committee on Appropriations,
Letter dated July 17, 2020, NEA Commissioner and Administrator General Ricardo R. Vizcaya, submitting calendar year 2020 second quarter progress report of NEA CARP IC for Mindanao Sustainable Agrarian and Agricultural Development Irrigation Component Projects.
To the Committee on Agriculture and Food.
Letter dated July 17, 2020 of the DBP President, Chief Executive Officer Emmanuel Rebosa, notifying the House that uncertain BFARs for the quarter ending June 30, 2020 has been posted in the DBP website under Transparency and Disclosures.
To the Committee on Banks and Financial Intermediaries.
Letters dated 21 and 24 August 2020 of the BSP Deputy Director, Office of the General Counsel and Legal Services, transmitting to the House duly certified electronic copies of certain BSP issuances.
To the Committee on Economic Affairs.
Boss Committee.
No, I'm sorry. Committee on Banks and Financial Intermediaries.
2019 Management Letter of the Philippine Rural Development Project implemented by Macaleon, Quezon.
To the Committee on Economic Affairs.
2019 Annual Audit Report of the Bohol Island State University, Tagbilaran City, Bohol.
To the Committee on Appropriations.
Committee Report, Report number 469 of the Committee on Economic Affairs, Trade and Industry, Appropriations and Ways and Means on House Bill number 7576.
To the Committee on Roles.
Report number 470 of the Committee on Youth and Sports Development on House Resolution 1156.
To the Committee on Roles. Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, I move for the consideration and third reading of House Bill 7507. For this purpose, may I request that the Secretary General be directed to read the title of the bill and thereafter call the roll for nominal voting. So moved, Mr. Speaker.
Is there any objection? The Chair hears none. The motion is approved. The Secretary General is directed to read copies of the bill, the title of the bill.
House
And
Bill number
thereafter, call the roll for nominal
7507,
voting.
entitled an act granting San Miguel Aero City Incorporated a franchise to construct, develop, establish, operate, and maintain a domestic and international airport in the municipality of Bulacan, province of Bulacan, and to construct, develop, establish, operate, and maintain an adjacent airport city. Roll call of members for consideration on third reading of House Bill number 7507.
Excuse me, Secretary General, before we will call the roll, may I ask if Deputy Speaker Mikey Romero is on the floor? Is not being in the floor, okay. The Secretary General is now directed to proceed in calling the roll of members for nominal voting on that particular bill on third reading.
Roll call of members for consideration on third reading of House Bill 7507. Abante, Abaya, Abillanosa, Abueg Saldivar, Abunda, Acop, Acosta Alba, Adyong, Advincula, Agabas, Agaraw, Aglipay, Aguinaldo, Albano, Almario, Alonte, Alvarez France, Alvarez Hinaro, Alvarez Pantaleon, Amante Matba, Amatong, Angara, Aragones, Arbison, Arenas, Arroyo, Atienza, Aumentado, Babasa, Bagatsing, Balindong, Banyas Nograles, Barbers, Baronda, Barsaga, Baskog, Bautista, Bandigan, Belmonte, Benitez, Bernos, Biason, Billones, Biron, Bolilla, Bondok, Bordado, Bravo, Brosas, Bulot, Bustos, Kabatbat, Kabuchan, Cabredo, Cagas, Calderon, Calixto, Caminero, Campos, Canama, Cawagdan, Cari, Castelo, Castro Franz, Castro Fredinil, Cayetano Alan Peter Compañero, Cayetano Maria Laarni, Celeste, Chato, Chipeco, Chungalao, Co Angelica, Co Elizalde, Cojanco, Coliantes, Crisólogo, Cuwa, Cuaresma, Cueva, Culyamat, Dagook, Dalipe, Dalog, Dasa, De Jesus, Di Venecia, Defensor Lawrence, Defensor Michael, Del Mar, De Los Santos, De Loso Montalia, Di Mapuro, Abdullah, Di Mapuro Khalid, Duabit, Duhali, Duterte, Di Faustino Ino, Di Faustino Michael, Di Ayan, Ebcas, Ecleo, Elago, Enverga, Erice, Irigiel, Ermita Buhain, Escudero, Espina, Espino, Estrella, Fariñas Ria, Fariñas Rudy Cesar, Fernandez, Fernando, Ferrer Juliet, Ferrer Luis, Flores, Fortuno, Frasco, Puentebella, Gaite, Garbin, Garcia Jose Enrique, Garcia Pablo Jan, Garcia Vincent, Garin, Janet, Garin Sharon, Gasataya, Gatchalian, Gato, Heron, Go Ed, Go Mark, Gonzaga, Gonzales Aurelio, Gonzales Neptali, Gonzales Sandro, Goreseta, Guico, Gulias, Guya, Haresco, Hataman, Hernandez, Herrera D, Hofer, Haloshos, Javier, Jimenez, Co Elisa, Co Wilton, Konghun, Labad-Labad, Lacson, Lacson Noel, Lagman, Lagon, Lara, Lasatin, Liachon, Liachon, Legarda, Lim Kaichong, Lopez, Loyola, Losotan, Macapagal Arroyo, Maceda, Madrona, Malapitan, Mangawang, Mangudadato, Marcoleta, Mariano Hernandez, Mariño, Marquez, Martinez, Matba, Matugas, Mendoza, Mercado, Momo, Natividad Naganyo, Naba, Nieto, Noel, Nograles Jericho, Nograles Juan, Nolasco, Nunez Malaniaon, Uaminal, Olivares, Ong Jose, Ong Ronnie, Ortega, Juanio Dison, Pacquiao Alberto, Pacquiao Rogelio, Padiernos, Paduano, Palma, Pancho, Panotes, Peña, Pichay, Pimentel, Pineda, Plaza, Puno, Kimbo, Radasa, Ramirez Sato, Ramos, Remulla, Revilla, Reyes, Rivera, Robes, Rodriguez, Roman, Romero, Romaldes Ferdinand, Romaldes Sieda, Romaldo, Romulo, Rocco, Sakdalan, Sagarbaria, Sakaluran, Salceda, Salimbangon, Salo, Sanchez, Sancopan, Santos Recto, Sarmiento, Saulug, Savillano, Siao, Silverio, Singson, Singson Mehan, Singson Mihan, Sinsuat, Swansing Estrelita, Swansing Horacio, Suarez Aleta, Suarez David, Suntay, C. Alvarado, Taduran, Talyado, Tambunting, Tan Alaysa, Tan Angelina, Tan Samir, Tan Sheri, Tan Sherni, Tejada, Tebes Arnulfo, Tebes Jose, Tiangco, Tolentino, Torres Gomez, Tulfo, Tupas, Tutor, T. Alan, T. Diego, Umali Alfonso, Umali Maria Victoria, Unabia, Ungab, Uy Juliet, Uy Rolando, Valeriano, Valmayor, Vargas, Vargas Alfonso, Velasco, Veloso, Vergara, Villa, Villafuerte, Villanueva, Eduardo, Brother Eddie, Villanueva, Noel, Villar, Villarasa Suarez, Villarica, Violago, Yap Eric, Yap Victor, Yu, Zamora Ronaldo, Zamora Waikurat, Sarate, and Subiri. Second call of members, Abante, Abaya, Acosta Alba, Agarao, Alvarez Genaro, Alvarez Pantaleon, Amatong, Aumentado, Banyas Nograles, Barsaga, Bernos, Biason, Canaba, Cari, Cuangco, Cua, Cuaresma, Dalipe, Del Mar, De Los Santos, Duabit, Icleo, Ermita Buhain, Lagman, Losotan, Marcoleta, Panotes, Pichay, Pineda, Villa, Villafuerte, Villar, Villarasa Suarez, you and Zamora Ronaldo.
The presiding officer fully supports the approval of this bill as one of the co-authors. However, I am yielding the chair to Deputy Speaker Mikey Romero to finally preside over the approval of this bill.
With 218 affirmative votes, 6 negative, and 2 abstention, House Bill 7507 is approved on third and final reading. Secretary General is directed to call the names of those members who voted on the negative to explain their votes.
Explanation of votes for House Bill 7507. Honorable Brosas.
Honorable Brosas is now recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Thank you. No ang boto ng Gabriela Women's Party sa House Bill 7507 na naglalayong bigyan ng prangkisa at tax benefits ang San Miguel Corporation para sa konstruksyon ng bagong airport sa Bulacan na bahagi ng Dambuhalang Airport City. Daan-daang pamilya ang direktang masasagasaan ng planong New Manila International Airport o San Miguel Corporation Aerotropolis Project na sasaklaw sa 2,500 hektaryang reklamasyon sa Manila Bay. Bukod pa sa maraming negatibong epekto sa kabuhayan at pamumuhay ng mga namamalakaya sa Bulacan at maging sa Manila Bay. Tinatayang nasa 700 pamilya sa Barangay Taliptip, Bulacan ang apektado. Mga pamilya at mangingisda na sa matagal na panahon ay pangingisda na ang kabuhayang kinagisnan, ay mawawalan ng tirahan at hanap buhay sa gitna ng kinakaharap nating pandemya. This reclamation also threatens our country's food security. At least 41 metric tons of fishery and marine products worth 30 million which come from the Taliptip River stream will be affected. Malaking dagok ito sa ating bansa dahil ngayong panahon mas kinakailangan natin ng seguridad sa pagkain. It will also destroy living organisms, mangroves, and marine life. Sa katunayan, 24.5 hectares ng mangroves ang masisira na siyang tahanan ng maraming marine organisms at nagpoprotekta sa mga komunidad mula sa baha. Sinabi sa deliberasyon na pinag-aralang mabuti ang proyektong ito, ngunit walang sapat na konsultasyon ng mamayang Taliptip. At hanggang ngayon ay walang feasibility study at environmental compliance certificate ang New Manila International Airport ng San Miguel Corporation. At balak pang i-exempt sa napakaraming taxes ang pagpapatayo ng paliparang ito. Lampas sa karaniwang tax benefits para sa ecozone locators ang ibibigay sa San Miguel para sa isang proyektong mawasak sa kabuhayan at tirahan. Tila mabilis at galante ang pag-aksyon ng kapulungang ito sa prangkisa ng mga oligarchs na dikit sa Pangulo kahit walang naging malalim na pagsusuri sa mga implikasyon nito. Mabilis na naipasa ang prangkisa ng Quito Telecommunity at ngayon ng San Miguel Aerotropolis pero pinadaan sa butas ng karayom ang ABS-CBN hanggang tuluyang ibinasura sa komite ang prangkisa at tanggalan ng kabuhayan ng 11,000 na manggagawa. Mr. Speaker, aanhin ng ordinaryong mamayan ang bagong airport sa panahon ng pandemya kung sila mismo ay tatanggalan ng kabuhayan, komunidad at tahanan. Ang kinatawang ito ay maninindigan kasama ang mamamayan ng Bulacan at mga karatig bayan para sa kabuhayan at karapatan. Maraming salamat, Mr. Speaker. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you very much, Representative Brosas. For the negative votes, the chair directs the Secretary General to have only two need to two members to manifest or to explain their negative votes. Secretary General.
Honorable Ilago.
Representative Ilago is hereby recognized.
Wala.
So, Representative Ilago is not in the Zoom or not in the plenary, so he... Majority Leader?
Next na.
Session suspended.
Okay. Okay, sabihin ko na lang.
Yeah, I move that Congressman, that her explanation will be submitted and be part of the record.
Session resume.
Mr. Speaker, before we move to the next national bill to be approved on third reading, I move that the explanation for the negative vote of Congresswoman Sara Ilago she will submit it at a later date, and I move that it be made part of the record. So moved, Mr. Speaker.
Is there any objection? The chair hears none. The motion is approved. Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, I move for the consideration and third reading of House Bill 7496, For this purpose, may we request that the Secretary General be directed to read the title of the bill and thereafter to call the roll for nominal voting. So move, Mr. Speaker.
Is there any objection? The chair hears none. The motion is approved. The Secretary General is directed to read the title of House Bill number 7496. And thereafter call the members for nominal voting. And after reading the title of the bill, the Secretary General is directed to call the roll of members for nominal voting.
House Bill 7496, an act granting Sevitron Industries Incorporated a franchise to construct, install, operate, and maintain radio and television broadcasting stations throughout the Philippines. Roll call of members for consideration on third reading of House Bill 7496. Abante, Abaya, Abellanosa, Abu, Abueg Saldivar, Abunda, Acop, Acosta, Acosta Alba, Adyong, Advincula, Agabas, Agaraw, Aglipay, Aguinaldo, Albano, Almario, Alonte, Alvarez Franz, Alvarez Genaro, Alvarez Pantaleon, Amante Matba, Amatong, Angara, Aragones, Arbison, Arenas, Arroyo, Atienza, Omentado, Babasa, Bagatsing, Balindong, Banyas Nograles, Barba, Barbers, Baronda, Barsaga, Baskug, Bautista, Bautista Bandigan, Belmonte, Benitez, Bernos, Biason, Billones, Biron, Bolilla, Bondoc, Bordado, Bravo, Brosas, Bulut, Bustos, Kabatbat, Kabutchan, Cabredo, Cagas, Calderon, Calixto, Caminero, Campos, Canama, Kawagdan, Cari, Castelo, Castro Franz, Castro Fredenil, Cayetano, Alan Peter, Cayetano, Mariela Arni, Celeste, Chato, Chipeco, Chungalao, Co Angelica, Co Elizaldi, Coanco, Colliantes, Crisologo, Cuwa, Cuaresma, Cueva, Colyamat, Dagook, Dalipe, Dalog, Daza, De Jesus, De Venecia, Defensor Lawrence, Defensor Michael, Del Mar, Del Santos, De Loso Montalia, Dimaporo Abdullah, Dimaporo Khalid, Duavit, Duhali, Duterte, D. Faustino Ino, D. Faustino Michael, D. Ian, Ebcas, Ecleo, Elago, Enverga, Erice, Erigel, Ermita Buhain, Escudero, Espina, Espino, Estrella, Fariñas Ria, Fariñas Rudy Cesar, Fernandez, Fernando, Ferrer Juliet, Ferrer Luis, Flores, Fortun, Fortuno, Frasco, Fentebella, Gaite, Garbin, Garcia Jose Enrique, Garcia Pablo John, Garcia Vincent, Garin Janet, Garin Sharon, Gasataya, Gatchalian, Gato, Heron, Go Ed, Go Mark, Gonzaga, Gonzales Aurelio, Gonzales Neptali, Gonzales Sandro, Goriseta, Guico, Gulyas, Guya, Haresco, Hataman, Hernandez, Herrera D, Hofer, Haloshos, Javier, Jimenez, Ko Elisa, Ko Wilton, Konghun, Labad-Labad, Lacson, Lacson Noel, Lagman, Lagod, Lara, Lazatin, Liatchon, Legarda, Lim Kaichong, Lopez, Loyola, Lusotan, Macapagal Arroyo, Maceda, Madrona, Malapitan, Mangawang Magudadatu, Marcoleta, Mariano Hernandez, Marino, Marquez, Martinez, Matba, Matugas, Mendoza, Mercado, Momo, Natividad Naganyo, Nava, Nieto, Noel, Nograles Jericho, Nograles Juan, Nolasco, Nunez Malanyaon, Owaminal, Olivares, Ong Jose, Ong Ronnie, Ortega, Uwano Dizon, Pacquiao Alberto, Pacquiao Rogelio, Padiernos, Paduano, Palma, Pancho, Panotes, Peña, Pichay, Pimentel, Pineda, Plaza, Puno, Kimbo, Radasa, Ramirez Sato, Ramos, Remulla, Revilla, Reyes, Rivera, Robes, Rodriguez, Roman Romero, Romualdez Ferdinand, Romualdez Yeda, Romualdo, Romulo, Roque, Sakdalan, Sagarbaria, Sakaluran, Salceda, Salimbangon, Salo, Sanchez, Sangkopan, Santos Recto, Sarmiento, Saulug, Sabeliano, Xiao, Silverio, Singson, Singson Mihan, Sinsuat, Sonsing Estrelita, Sonsing Horacio, Suarez Aleta, Suarez David, Sudtay, C. Alvarado, Taduran, Talyado, Tambunting, Tan Alisa, Tan Angelina, Tan Samir, Tan Shari, Tan Shirney, Tejada, Teves Arnolfo, Teves Jose, Tiangco, Tolentino, Torres Gomez, Tulfo, Tupas, Tutor, T. Alan, T. Diego, Umali Alfonso, Umali Maria Victoria, Unabia, Ungab, Uy Juliet, Uy Rolando, Valeriano, Valmayor, Vargas, Vargas Alfonso, Velasco, Veloso, Vergara, Villa, Villaferte, Villanueva Eduardo, Villanueva Noel, Villar, Villaraza Suarez, Villarica, Violago, Yap Eric, Yap Victor, Yu, Zamora Ronaldo, Zamora Waikurat, Zarate, Zubiri. Second call, in consideration of House Bill 7496, Abante, Abaya, Acosta Alba, Agaraw, Alvarez Genaro, Alvarez Pantaleon, Amatong, Aumentado, Bañas Nograles, Barzaga, Bernos, Biazon, Kanama, Cari, Coanco, Cua, Quaresma, Dalipe, Del Mar, De Los Santos, Duavit, Ecleo, Ermita Buhain, Lagman, Lusotan, Marcoleta, Panotes, Pichay, Pineda, Villa, Villafuerte, Villar, Villaraza Suarez, Yu, Zamora Ronaldo.
With 226 members voting in the affirmative, 0 negative, and 0 abstention, House Bill number 7496 is hereby approved. Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, I move for the consideration and third reading of House Bill 7358. For this purpose, may I request that the Secretary General be directed to read the title of the bill and thereafter to call the roll for nominal voting. Including all under establishment of TESTA centers, House Bill 7359, House Bill 7421, House Bill 7510, 7511, 7512, 7513, 7514, 7515.
Is there any objection? The chair hears none. The Secretary General is directed to read the title of the following bills. House Bill number 7358, 7359, 7421, 7510, 7511, 7512, 7513, 7514, and 7515. And thereafter, call the roll of members for nominal voting.
House Bill 7358, an act establishing a Technical Education and Skills Development Authority Training and Assessment Center in Barangay Gulod, Quezon City, to be known as the Barangay Gulod, Quezon City TESTA Training and Assessment Center, and appropriating funds therefor. 7359, an act establishing a Technical Education and Skills Development Authority Training and Assessment Center in Municipality of Mayayao, Province of Ifugao, to be known as the Mayayao Ifugao Province TESTA Training and Assessment Center, and appropriating funds therefor. House Bill 7421, an act establishing a Technical Education and Skills Development Authority Training and Assessment Center in Paquibato District, Davao City, to be known as the Paquibato District, Davao City TESTA Training and Assessment Center, and appropriating funds therefor. House Bill 7510, an act establishing a Technical Education and Skills Development Authority Training and Assessment Center in the Municipality of Liloy, Province of Zamboanga del Norte, to be known as the Liloy Zamboanga del Norte TESTA Training and Assessment Center, and appropriating funds therefor. House Bill 7511, an act establishing a technical education and skills development authority, training and assessment center in the municipality of Hagonoy, province of Bulacan, to be known as the Hagonoy Bulacan TESDA Training and Assessment Center and appropriating funds therefor. House Bill 7512, an act establishing a technical education and skills development authority, training and assessment center in the municipality of San Ildefonso, province of Ilocos Sur, to be known as the San Ildefonso Ilocos Sur TESDA Training and Assessment Center and appropriating funds therefor. House Bill 7513, an act establishing a technical education and skills development authority, training and assessment center in the municipality of Solana, province of Cagayan, to be known as the Solana Cagayan TESDA Training and Assessment Center and appropriating funds therefor. House Bill 7514, an act establishing a technical education and skills development authority, training and assessment center in the municipality of Calabanga, province of Camarines Sur, to be known as the Calabanga Camarines Sur TESDA Training and Assessment Center and appropriating funds therefor. House Bill 7515, an act establishing a technical education skills development authority, training and assessment center in the municipality of Lawang, province of Northern Samar, to be known as the Lawang Northern Samar TESDA Training and Assessment Center and appropriating funds therefor. Roll call of members in consideration of the said House Bills. Abante, Abaya, Bellanosa, Abu, Abuexaldivar, Abunda, Acop, Acosta, Acosta Alba, Agjong, Advincula, Agabas, Agaraw, Aglipay, Aguinaldo, Albano, Almario, Alonte, Alvarez Franz, Alvarez Senaro, Alvarez Pantaleon, Amante Matba, Amatong, Angara, Aragones, Arbison, Arenas, Arroyo, Atienza, Mentada, Babasa, Bagatsing, Balindog, Baños Nograles, Barba, Barbers, Baronda, Berzaga, Bascug, Bautista, Bautista Bandigan, Belmonte, Benitez, Bernas, Biason, Billones, Biron, Bolilla, Bondok, Bravo, Bordado, Brosas, Bulot, Bustos, Kabatbat, Cabochan, Cabredo, Cagas, Calderon, Calixto, Caminero, Campos, Canama, Cawagdan, Cari, Castelo, Franz Castro Fredinil, Cayetano Alan Peter Compañero, Cayetano Mariela Arni, Celeste, Chato, Chipeco, Chungalaw, Co, Angelica, Co, Elizalde, Cuanco, Colyantes, Crisologo, Cuwa, Quaresma, Cueva, Colyamat, Dagoo, Dalipe, Dalog, Daza, De Jesus, De Venecia, Defensor Lawrence, Defensor Michael, Delmar de los Santos, de la Sumentalia, Demaporo Abdullah, Demaporo Muhammad Khalid, Duhali Duterte, D. Faustino, Ina, D. Faustino Michael, D. Ian Paul, Ebcas Ecleo, Elago, Enverga, Erisa, Erigel, Ermita Buhain, Escudero, Espina, Espino, Estrella, Fariñas, Ria, Fariñas, Rudy Caesar, Fernandez, Fernando, Fer Juliet, Fer Luis, Flores, Fortuno, Frasco, Fuentebella, Gaite, Garbin, Garcia, Jose Enrique Garcia, Pablo Jan Garcia, Vincent, Garin Janet, Garin Sharon, Gacetaya, Gatchalian, Gato, Heron, Go Edgo, Mark Gonzaga, Gonzales Ariel Yodong, Gonzales, Neptali, Gonzales Sandro, Groseta, Gico, Gullas, Guya, Heresco, Hataman, Hernandez, Herrera, D. Hofer, Haluso, Xavier Jimenez, Co, Elisa, Col Wilton, Konghun, Labad, Lacson, Noel, Lagman, Lagon, Lara, Lasatin, Liachon, Legarda, Limlem, Kaichong, Lopez, Loyola, Losotan, Macapagal, Arroyo, Maceda, Madrona, Malapitan, Mangawang, Magundadato, Marcoleta, Mariano Hernandez, Marino Marquez, Martinez, Matba, Matugas, Mendoza, Mercado, Momo, Natividad Nagaño, Nava Nieto, Noel, Nograles, Jericho, Nograles, Juan Fidel, Nolasco, Nunez Malañan, Waminal Olivares, Jose Ongroni, Ortega, Uano Dizon, Pacquiao Alberto, Pacquiao Rogelio, Pajernos Paduano, Palma, Pancho, Panotes, Peña, Pichay, Pimentel, Pineda, Plaza, Puno, Kimbo, Radasa, Ramirez Sato, Ramos, Remulla, Revilla, Reyes, Rivera, Robes, Rodriguez, Roman Romero, Romualdez Ferdinand, Romualdo Sieda Marie, Romualdo Romulo, Roque, Sakdalan, Sagarbaria, Sakaluran, Salceda, Salimbangon, Salo Sanchez, Sangkapan, Santos Recto, Sarmiento, Saulug, Savillano, Xiao Silverio, Singson Mihan, Sinsuat, Swansing Estrelita, Swansing Horacio, Suarez, Aleta, Suarez David, Suntay, Si Alvarado, Taduran Talyado, Tambunting, Tan Alisa, Tan Angelina, Tan Shamir, Tan Shari, Tan Sherny, Tejada, Teves, Arnulfo, Teves, Jose, Tiangco, Tolentino, Torres Gomez, Tulfo, Tupas, Tutor, T. Alan T. Diego, Umali Alfonso, Umali Maria Victoria, Unabia, Ungab, Uy Juliet, Uy Rolando, Valmayor, Valeriano, Vargas, Vargas Alfonso, Velasco, Veloso, Vergara, Villa, Villafuerte, Villanueva, Brother Eddie, Villanueva Noel, Villar Suarez, Villarica, Violago, Yap Eric, Yap Victor, Yu, Zamora Ronaldo, Zamora Waikorat, Zarate, Zubiri. Second call of members for the hereon considered for third reading House Bills. Abante, Abaya, Acosta Alba, Agaraw, Alvarez Senaro, Alvarez Pantaleon, Amatong, Mentada, Bahañas Nograles, Berzaga, Bernos, Biason, Canama, Cari, Cuanco, Cua, Cuaresma, Dalipe, Del Mar, De Los Santos, Duavit, Ecleo, Ermita Buhain, Lagman, Losotan, Marcoleta, Panotes, Pichay, Pineda, Villa, Villafuerte, Villar, Villarasa, Suarez, Zamora, Ronaldo.
With 229 members voting in the affirmative, 0 negative, 0 abstention, House Bills number 7358, 7359, 7421, 7510, 7511, 7512, 7513, 7514, and 7515 are now approved on third and final reading. Majority Leader?
Mr. Speaker, I move that the Secretary General be directed to immediately transmit to the Senate all of the bills that we approved on third reading today. So move, Mr. Speaker.
Is there any objection? The Chair hears none. The motion is approved. The Secretary General is directed to act accordingly on the motion of the Majority Leader. Majority Leader?
Mr. Speaker, I move to open the privileged hour. So move, Mr. Speaker.
Is there any objection? There being none, the motion is approved and the period of privileged hour is now in place. Majority Leader?
Mr. Speaker, may we recognize the lady from party list, from Kabataan Party List, Honorable Sarah Jane Elago, for her privileged speech. So move, Mr. Speaker.
The Honorable Representative Sarah Jane I. Elago, Party List Kabataan, is recognized.
Mr. Speaker.
Majority Leader?
Mr. Speaker, it would seem that our colleague Representative Elago is not yet ready to deliver her speech. So I move instead that we recognize the gentleman from the 3rd District of Bukidnon, Representative Manuel Zubiri, to avail of the privilege hour.
There is a motion for Representative Manuel F. Zubiri to deliver his privileged speech in lieu of Representative Sarah Jane Elago. Is there any objection? The Chair hears none. The motion is approved. The Honorable Representative Manuel F. Zubiri, 3rd District of Bukidnon, my region mate, the good gentleman, is now recognized.
Good afternoon, Mr. Speaker. Good afternoon, my dear colleagues. I stand here today in defense of our farmers nationwide. I received the report this morning that prices of white corn and yellow corn are 7 pesos and 10 pesos respectively. 2 weeks ago, they were still at 14.80 pesos, Mr. Speaker. Yung palay naman ay nasa 12 hanggang 13, Mr. Speaker. 12 to 13 pesos. 2 weeks ago, nasa 16 to 17 pesos pa po ito. Kawawa naman po ang ating mga magsasaka. Naghihintay sila ng ilang buwan at umaasa sila sa mga makabenta ng maayos sa kanilang ani, tapos ang magiging resulta ganito? Ano po ang magagawa natin, Mr. Speaker? I call on our Secretary Dar, on our dear Secretary Dar, to help intervene and find ways and means to protect our farmers. Nananawagan po din ako sa NFA kung pwede lang po, Mr. Speaker, Bilhin niyo yung mga mais ng ating magsasaka. Ang inyong mandato ay hindi lang sa pagbibili ng bigas, kundi sa lahat ng mga produkto, mga importante na mga produkto ng ating bansa. Your mandate is not only in the procurement of rice, but for the procurement of all the very important goods of our country, of which corn is a vital resource to our beloved land and populace. That is why you are called the National Food Authority. Ang ating magsasaka po ay ang nagbibigay sa atin ng pagkain para tayo ay mabuhay at hindi magutom. Pero kung ganito po ang sukli natin sa kanila, sila naman ang magugutom, Mr. Speaker. Sa ating mga negosyante, sa mga bumibili ng mga produkto, sa ating mga magsasaka, hingi po ako ng tulong para sa ating mga kapatid. Maawa po kayo sa kanila. Ngayon na pandemya, ipalabas po ninyo ang inyong pagkapatriotiko. Bigyan niyo po ng pansin yung problema ng ating mga magsasaka. Kung sa Biblia pa, mga gawa ng apostol, this is Acts 20:35, nagpakita ako ng halimbawa sa inyo sa lahat ng mga bagay. Sa ganitong pagpapagal ay dapat kayong sumaklolo sa mahihina. Dapat ninyong alalahanin ang salita ng Panginoong Hesukristo na siya rin ang may sabi. Lalo pang pinagpala ang magbigay kaysa tumanggap. It is better to give than to receive, Mr. Speaker. This is the law of our Christ. To our traders, the big companies out there, and to our businessmen, our farmers have toiled and sacrificed so much for us. They have felt the heat of the sun during its hottest days and have felt the downpour of its strongest rains just to give us the food we need to live a healthy life. Especially at this time of need, this time of COVID-19, I humble myself, Mr. Speaker. Ito po, I humble myself together with our farmers to ask for the help of our traders and our businessmen. Please give our farmers a fighting chance. Show your patriotism. Be a statesman in this time of need. Show that we care so they may do their very best to keep us alive. Food security is national security. Maraming salamat, Mr. Speaker. Mabuhay po ang ating mga magsasaka at agrikultura sa bansa. Mabuhay po tayong lahat. Mahal kita, Pilipinas. Marami pong salamat.
Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, I move that the privileged speech of the Honorable Manuel Zubiri be referred to the Committee on Committee on Rules for its proper action. So moved, Mr. Speaker.
Is there any objection? The chair hears none. The privileged speech of the distinguished gentleman from the 3rd District of Bukidnon, the Representative Manuel F. Subiri, is hereby referred to the Committee on Rules for appropriate action. So ordered.
Move to
Majority
suspend,
Leader.
Mr. Speaker, for a few minutes.
Session suspended. Session resume. Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, I move that we close the privilege hour.
There is a motion to terminate the privilege hour. Is there any objection? The chair hears none. The motion is approved. Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, I move that we suspend session until tomorrow, Tuesday, September 8, 2020, Tuesday at 3 p.m. So move, Mr. Speaker.
Is there any objection? There being none, the motion is approved. The session is suspended until 3 p.m. tomorrow, September 8, 2020.
Sama ako. Picture. Sama.